So I'm Rahul Gedupudi. I'm the CEO of Kensium Solutions. We are an Acumatica partner. We also have a second vertical to our business that's on the e-commerce side. But in terms of the Acumatica division, we develop integrations for Acumatica. We actually provide development and support services for a lot of the VARs and ISVs. That's our core Acumatica business. I mean, truly, 4 years ago when we started with Acumatica, it was just a leap of faith, right? I mean, we looked at the solution, we've seen the technology, we liked it, and Ali was very compelling. I mean, he convinced that this is the right solution to be associated with, and so on. And looking at the opportunities with e-commerce and so on, we got into building the connector, but I think. At the time, we did not know how successful Acumatica was going to be. So that's why I say it's a leap of faith. But I think in the last 5 years, we've seen a lot of growth with Acumatica. And the first few implementations, like any other solution, was quite challenging. But what really mattered was how Acumatica was willing to work with us and help us evolve the solution. Wherever we found technical challenges, they were able to really step in and really help us solve those challenges. I think that's really unique. I mean, a lot of manufacturers really don't do it. They leave the ISVs to themselves, and that's where Acumatica really comes through. Ali was our first, the first contact into Acumatica, and he understood the e-commerce market, and that was a common language that we could relate to. But since then, we work with Christian, Sean. We work with Ajoy on the newer technologies. We do a little bit of proof of concept things, and we work closely with Mike C and his team in Moscow. And when they came out with the new version of the API and so on, we were the first ones to try it. So we've been winning the Innovation Partner of the Year award consistently for the last couple of years, and that's primarily because we work very closely with the Acumatica team and trying out the new things in terms of what's needed for the customers. I think primarily when you talk about cloud, anything that's a multi-tenant solution does not really give the level of flexibility that Acumatica does in terms of customizing it, and that's the challenge. Especially, I mean, our background being e-commerce. The reason why we chose Magento was because it allows you to really customize things. Right? And there are other cloud-based platforms, multi-tenant solutions, which are very limited. I mean, they offer limited customization. And when we first heard about Acumatica, and that was my mindset going in and talking to Ali, and when we saw the technology and how extensible it is, we are a development company, right? And we are a technology solutions provider. So that's what excites us, being able to extend it and really take it to levels that Acumatica's core engineering team has not thought of. That's what allows us to really sell our solutions and our services and so on. So there are two areas that we work with, right? So one is our technology solutions, whether it's in the e-commerce connectors or the product configurator that we also built for Acumatica. We have payment gateway solutions and all that. So when a customer is looking at, let's say if it's an e-commerce customer, that makes it very easy. I mean, we guide them in terms of the right solutions for them to implement and so on. But we also have a development services arm of our Acumatica division, which takes care of all the customizations. I think being in the ERP industry, we know that no customer no two customers are the same. So everybody has their own business processes, and they need some customization, some changes that are to be done, and so on. And we work with a lot of resellers, Acumatica resellers, and we provide those development services for them. Right? So we customize the platform for them. We guide them in terms of what works, what does not work, and I think being able to provide those solutions on how we can do things in a different way or a simpler way or a better way. So that's pretty much what we bring to the customers. Shubaka, which is a pretty complicated and a complex business solution that was solved by Acumatica and Kensium together. So we did their complete Acumatica implementation. We also re-implemented their Magento site. We ensured that the connector was set up properly, and they did give us a lot of challenges in terms of the capacity and the performance and so on. And they made us better by working with us and ensuring that the solutions are developed right. We also have another customer, Realan. They are here as well, Realan Manufacturing, and They've been a customer for the last 1 year, and they've been very successful. And they run 5 different websites, B2B, B2C, everything. And they're already talking about upgrading and moving to the next level and so on. And we have a lot of other customers like Carlsbad that's here, Wally's Wine, another big implementation. So there are a lot of good customers that are here. So it's nice to walk the floors and see these customers, and nobody trying to chase us.
Right.
They're still happy. They're working with us, and they're ready to watch for us in Acumatica and so on. Yeah. I think the biggest thing that we like are the integration services and the customization, and how easily you can build components that look exactly like they're part of Acumatica. And the areas, the challenges that I would see would be, again, Acumatica is still a new platform. There are a lot of really neat things that are happening. And as a partner that's actually pioneering a lot of those technologies, the challenges would be in terms of the stability of the new features that are coming in. And that's new. I mean, we start with the beta program, and over the next version or two, we stabilize it, and that's when the rest of the world sees it. So I think that's that's a little challenging, but it also gives us a competitive advantage. We'd love to do that with Acumatica. We want to work with them and so on. And I think the only other area where I would like to see some improvement would be in terms of making sure that there are all the different vendor packages and ISV solutions can work cohesively. One of the functionalities that I've always wanted to see was the ability to have multiple ISV products run on the same thing, and being able to have multiple customizations on the same screen, be able to run at the same time. And in terms of tools, what I would really like to see is, especially now that we have the certified program, the certified ISV program and so on, making sure that there is a compatibility checker that tells us which ISV programs work well with each other, right? So that would really ensure that when the VARs are going out and selling the platform, they can figure out which ISV solutions work well with each other, and they can identify that. And that's a challenge that the VARs have today. I think another one that I would also like to see personally would be more on the documentation side and the testing side, and that's something that Acumatica has introduced with the 5.3 platform, and has really enhanced it with 6, the whole automated testing suite. And we would like to see some more enhancements to that, and the ability for every partner and every ISV to be able to run those things independently, so they can run through upgrades very quickly. So one of the things that's really cool about Acumatica is that the framework provides a lot of things for you. So we've had cases where we built integration into different systems in literally 10 days. Of course, they didn't follow the best practices in terms of the documentation and so on. They were quick hit things, but truly when we go through the product development process, what would really work and what has worked for us is we go out and we basically, our product managers document what needs to be done, and we look at what's available in Acumatica, how things have to be done and so on. And it's important to work with somebody at Acumatica, especially on the engineering side, to review the designs and make sure that number one, they are according to the spec and so on, and two, Acumatica is not coming out with a new framework or a new technology or a new component in that piece that can severely impact your own design, right, in a new version. And once you do that, you go through the agile process in terms of building things, demonstrating, checking with Acumatica, and then once that is done, you have to go through the certification process. I think that's one of the most important things that for an ISV and for a development partner that Acumatica has added, which is a certification process. One of the tools that I would also like to add there is a tool which allows development partners to quickly run through a checklist of all the certification steps. That can reduce the time to go through the certification process as well. But going through the certification process ensures that there are a lot of nuances to the platform that even after working for 4.5 years, it's an ocean, right? I mean, we're still learning new things and so on. And so it's important to go through that process where the right engineers are looking at it and guiding us in more efficient solutions and ensuring that the product is successful. And of course, load testing is the most important thing. We've learned that very quickly that without load testing, going to production is definitely not the right thing to do. I think once they look at the platform and understand the capabilities, it makes it very easy for them to really pick Acumatica as the base solution. So we have, and before we started the Acumatica Association, we've been a product development company as well. We've developed a document management system, we've developed an HR system, and so on. And if I had known about Acumatica before we started development, we probably would have used Acumatica as a base and then built those solutions, because there are a lot of things that you have to do as a product development company in terms of framework and so on that Acumatica automatically gives you out of the box. Right? So you're only focused on your business functionality rather than really trying to figure out the security aspects of it and the performance aspects of it and so on, and scalability and cloud and everything else. So I think that's one of the best things that we see about Acumatica. And what was impressive to me coming from the assembly Delphi days is how quickly you can customize a platform without really using a Visual Studio or anything else, and you can just make your changes on the fly. So which is quite different than coming from the Java world and how we used to do things, where you start a project and anything less than 6 months is unimaginable.